Source: Beast Tamer. Welcome back to AniRecapz. Like and subscribe so you never miss our quality uploads. The episode opens with Rain, a beast tamer, entering a room with his hero party waiting for him. He is unceremoniously fired from being part of the party. Rain is a beast tamer and he can tame animals and use their strength as his own. Rain feels that beast tamers are not well suited for combat, but as part of the hero party, he works hard supporting his comrades during harsh journeys by scouting with the help of an eagle or squirrels and carrying heavy loads with the help of a bear. His party trusted him with these tasks, but at least that was what he thought. Rain feels that this is all out of the blue and thinks he is being pranked. Arios, the leader of the hero party, slams his fist on the table and informs him that this was not a prank. Agath, Lean, and Minna all look on as Rain turns to them to say something. He realizes that they are all serious about it. He asks them why. Lean scoffs at this, asking him if he wants a reason aside from the obvious one. She proceeds to call him useless and has been holding them back. She considers having him more trouble than it's worth. Arios explains that Rain never does any damage to enemies, and they end up constantly trying to save him. All he does for them is scout and carry loads using animals he tamed. Rain reflects on their statements and recalls some of the things they said in the past, all of which were against him being in the party. He realizes that his party did not like him to be part of them. As Rain tries to talk to them, Arios interrupts him. He doesn't want Rain to lower their opinion of him anymore. Rain realizes that he really has been fired. Arios also informs him to leave his gear behind since they were the ones who gathered it. As Rain removes his gear and arranges it, the hero party starts planning on taking on the Lost Woods. They'd been in the town for days and Rain, who was tasked with gathering supplies, took so long. They continued as Rain takes his leave, realizing that anything between them may have come to a permanent end. Without gear and money, Rain seats on a bench. He recollects how Agath commented that he was weak like a child after he saved him from a goblin. He also remembers how Minna told him he lacked both the bearing and skill to be in the hero party. He even remembers how Lean questions how he can be good for anything besides running errands and calling him worthless. Rain also realizes how Arios would sarcastically tell the other party members that Rain was doing his best, at least for a beast tamer. He realized that these comments were not to encourage him to do better, but his party never really cared for him at all. He was pondering what to do next when three children call him. They ask if he had finished his hero work. As Rain stammers to answer them, they beg him to show them his power. He obliges them and walks with them. They spot an eagle, and Rain, using his powers, creates a temporary contract with it. He makes it land and takes a bow. This amazes the children. He thanks the eagle before releasing it from the spell. As Rain tries to explain the spell to the children, they all feel he is awesome. All of them wants to be a beast tamer when they grow up. Rain questions their choice as he thought they wanted to be a hero. They explain that the hero and his party always look annoyed when commoners come up to them. They also suck up to the rich folk and the nobles, which they felt was nasty and scary. Rain did not realize that people had this opinion of Arios and the party. He now understood the cold and frowning reception he got when he went to gather supplies. The children continue that Rain was different from his party and was nice. He realizes that now it would be harder to tell them he got fired. The children then say they will become adventurers and make their fortunes overnight. After reflecting on their words, he realizes that since he did not need to worry about defeating the Demon King, he can live a life of an adventurer. Rain goes to register at an adventurer's guild. There he meets Natalie, the receptionist, whom he asks what an adventurer really is. He recalls how his party did not interact much with adventures as Arios and his party looked down on them. Natalie is happy to teach him the basics of being an adventurer, like ranking from F to S, just like monsters, gears, and others. Afterward, she takes to him about his adventurer's trial. She asks his class, and he responds he is a beast tamer. This surprises her, and she asks him if he is okay with going on alone. Rain recalls how Lean called her useless as a beast tamer, and this makes him pause. Natalie tells him not to do anything reckless and reminds him that adventurers must know when the job is too much for them to handle. This brings Rain back, and he agrees with her. Natalie asks him if he understands why a trial is needed before an adventurer is accepted. Rain responds that if an unskilled adventurer is hired by the guild, it would undermine the reputation of the guild. She is happy with his answer and explains that if the guild is not trusted, the government would get involved. Rain goes on his quest, which requires him to slay 10 goblins and collect 20 medicinal herbs. With the help of a squirrel he tames, he can find the goblins and kill them easily. He gathers rune stones that each goblin drops and is getting ready to start gathering the herbs when he hears a scream. He heads towards it and finds a D-ranked killer tiger about to slaughter a girl. He rushes toward it and jumps to stab it with his dagger. His dagger breaks against the tiger's thick fur. The tiger throws him off. He lands on his butt with his broken dagger beside him. He realizes that he didn't have a chance against the tiger. As the tiger turns its attention to him, he is resigned to the fact that he may die, but at least he will be able to distract the tiger long enough for the girl to escape. He shouts at the girl to let her leave. To his surprise, the girl stands up and jumps high in the air. She lands her leg on the tiger's back, killing the tiger instantly. Rain stands up and asks who she is, noticing her cat ears and tail. He realizes that she belongs to one of the ultimate species in their world. She was one of the rarest beings, a cat spirit. The dead tiger starts to disappear. The girl who was still sitting on top of the tiger falls from hunger and exhaustion. Rain swiftly rushes in and catches her. He feeds her with some rations he brought. As the girl eats heartily, he recalls how the cat spirits are on the verge of extinction, and they have no magic but possess very evolved athletic abilities, making them the ultimate in the world. After eating, she introduces herself as Canaday. Rain also introduces himself and tells him that he is in the middle of his adventurer's trial. He asks her what she was doing in the forest. Canaday tells him that the cat spirits live in a remote mountain and keep mostly to themselves. She found life in her village boring and decided to go on a journey where she met him. She feels it's like fate. As they walk, Rain tells Canaday about how he was fired from the hero party that he was part of for 6 months. While telling his story, he realizes that he feels relieved after telling her everything he has been keeping inside. Suddenly, Canaday stops walking. She is upset by his story and says that the hero should not have fired such a nice person. She was mad, but Rain was okay with his situation now. He knows that what they said of him being a hindrance may have been true and staying in the party would not have been good. As Canaday accepts this, Rain instinctively rubs her head to show his appreciation of her concern. She then tells him that he is not useless and strong enough to make a contract with her. She knows this as she felt a surge of energy while he was fighting the tiger. Only a handful of people could tame cat spirits. Rain bites his finger to draw blood and start the enchantment. He starts casting the spell and asks her to state her name to acknowledge the contract. She does, and the contract is formed with a rune forming in her palm. Canaday is happy that they are bound together and they shake hands together. Canaday pulls Rain as they run towards town. Rain happily reflects on how he was a beast tamer kicked out of a hero's party who had no goal or comrades, and now has an ultimate species working with him. At the Adventurers Guild, Rain submits the items that he gained from his quest to the guild receptionist Natalie, who informs him that he's passed his adventurer's trial. With that, he's now recognized as an F-ranked adventurer, and he's given 50 copper coins for completing the quest. Natalie also states that although the payout is paltry, once Rain completes more quests, he'd rank up and earn more money. Rain notes that he'll need lodging, and to achieve this, he would need to earn more money. Later, Rain meets with Canaday in the cafeteria, where he informs her that he's an official adventurer now. He asks her if she'd like to accept a quest, and Canaday happily accepts. A random man then approaches them and takes an interest in Canaday. When the man tries to court Canaday, she refuses him, claiming that she belongs to Rain because he's her tamer. Finding it hard to believe, as cat spirits is one of the ultimate species, the man challenges Rain to an arm wrestling contest with Canaday as the prize. Despite his hesitancy, Rain accepts the challenge and instantly wins, much to his surprise. Just then, Natalie arrives and, after observing the situation, apologizes to Rain and notes that the guild was aware of the man's antics and was considering suspending his license. Taking care of the man, Natalie formally apologizes on behalf of the guild. However, her inner voice leaks out when she asks Rain how he managed to tame Canaday. This makes both Rain and Canadae shudder in fear. She regains her composure and apologizes again. Rain then wonders how he became so strong, and Canadae explains it's because he made a contract with her. This resulted in his strength to amplify. Rain's strength is believed to be as strong as Canadae's, and Rain is a bit surprised by this as no one back in his village had this experience before. Excited to take on a new job, Canadae's hopes are extinguished when they do herb gathering again. Canadae complains that they should be doing a more extravagant job. However, Rain explains that because of his F rank, they're only allowed to complete basic jobs, although psyched to do her best so they could gain more experience and rank up. Rain forms a temporary contract with some horned rabbits to collect their quota of herbs. As despondent over this as Canadae was, she hears screaming off in the distance, and Rain suggests they check it out. At the location, an old man and his mule are surrounded by a group of bandits known as the Ebon Fangs. Hiding behind a nearby bush, Canadae informs Rain of the Ebon Fangs' infamous reputation as a brigade of bandits with 100 members to their rankings. Although Canadae believes they should fall back and get help, Rain refuses and thinks they should take the bandits on themselves. Understanding her master's gumption, Canadae is told to rescue the old man while Rain deals with the bandits. The two then ambush the bandits, and as Rain deals with the bandits, Canadae checks on the old man while her inner monologue notes her worry that Rain may not be able to handle his newfound strength. However, as Canadae observes Rain fighting against the bandits, her heart starts to race, and when he finishes, Rain notices that Canadae's face is reddish and believes she was hurt. Canadae, however, denies the fact, and the old man speaks out to thank the two for their help. The old man then explains that a group of adventurers protected him. However, they fled when the bandits arrived, and he voices his concern over the reprisals of the Ebon Fangs. Briefly contemplating over it, Rain decides to deal with the rest of the Ebon Fangs, much to Canadae's dismay. En route to their destination, Rain temporarily contracts some animals around the surrounding area to scout out the Ebon Fangs. He also explains to Canadae his reason for wanting to deal with the remaining Ebony Fangs members and assures her that he has a plan on how to do so. Soon they reach the Ebony Fangs hideout, and Canadae is dejected that a temporary contracted animal once again beat her to the punch of an important task. Rain then apologizes to Canadae, who regains her composure, noting that she was only fooling around with Rain, and asks him what the plan is from there on out. Rain details the plan hinges on another temporary contract with Arby's. Its skill can paralyze a person for over 12 hours. She gets astonished that Rain could tame so many, even with her. MC tells Canadae that back in his home village, he learned the basics of the tamer subclass insect taming for a while. Surprised, Canadae was then ordered to return to the town and get some reinforcements while he handles the Ebony Fang members. Although Canadae felt dejected again by her value as Rain's familiar, she snaps out of her emotional state and learns the need for reinforcements. The reinforcements that MC wanted were the Order of Knights, a group tasked by the government to uphold peace in the lands. Understanding her task, Canadae leaves and a swarm of Arby's arrives, and Rain forms a temporary contract with them all. Elsewhere, two of the three adventurers who were tasked with protecting the old man earlier before are revealed to have been Rain's old comrades, Mina and Lean. The two curses their situation and how Arios and Agath were sucking it up with the nobility while they're forced to take on jobs. They redirect their frustrations to that beast tamer guy that they were partnered with. They accused him of sucking badly. However, in his defense, the beast tamer claims the demands of them were far too complex for him to accomplish. He also claims that a beast tamer can only tame one subject, so taming over 12 animals is just impossible, which Lean considers to be a lie. So they hold the poor guy responsible for the failure, accepting the responsibility after getting Twitter death threats from the girls. They still refuse to believe that Rain is any higher than the garbage she thought him to be. Returning to Rain's side, his Arby's deal with the remaining Ebony Fangs members, and Canadae arrives with reinforcements. As the reinforcements handle the paralyzed bandits, Rain notices that only adventurers are there and not a single member of the Knights of Order. One of the reinforcements reveals that the Knights of Order had no time to deal with a bunch of cut purses. At that moment, a trio of Berserk King lizards break through their wooden cage and attack the Ebon Fang members and then Rain. Through the combined efforts of Rain and Kanade, they manage to take down the monsters, allowing the adventurers to carry the Ebony Fang members out of the area. Eventually, Rain and Kanade exit the Ebony Fang's base with Kanade holding onto the King Lizard's magical stones, and they're then praised for their accomplishment by their fellow adventurers. The praise sits well with Rain, who recalls being kicked out of Ario's party for being useless and is thankful for Kanade's help. Kanade runs towards the bed and is excited to have an actual bed to sleep on. Rain, on the other hand, was exasperated as the innkeeper had placed them in one room. Rain narrates how after they turned in the Ebony Fangs, they were recalled to the Adventurers Guild. There, Nathalie informs him that he has been given a special promotion to E rank as they have served a crucial means in destroying the Ebony Fangs. Rain and Kanade were given a sizable reward for their efforts. With this, they purchased new equipment, celebrated by having a fancy dinner together, and finally ended up in their current predicament. Rain is apprehensive about sharing a room with a girl. Kanade, however, feels it's okay. Rain scolds her for trusting someone she just met, but Kanade reminds him she trusts only him and they are nakama. Rain then agrees to share the room with Kanade for the night. As MC sleeps, Kanade contemplates how kind and good he is. In her travels, she encountered many people who approached her to gain money and fame, but Rain was different. He helped her out of the goodness of his heart and even treated her like a normal girl. She also wants to make him smile with his heart, as she knows that his expulsion from the hero party affected him so much. After a week, Rain is content with the laid-back lifestyle that they have been living thus far. They visit the Adventurers Guild and learn from Nathalie that a hooligan has taken refuge at Stride Bridge and picks fights with anyone who tries to cross the bridge. People have started calling him the guard dog of Stride Bridge. No one has yet been killed, but fewer people have been using the bridge. Enticed by the 5 gold rewards, Rain accepts the quest and immediately heads to the bridge with Kanade. Arriving at the bridge, a red dragon flies overhead and lands in front of them. She transforms into a female humanoid and proclaims her desire to fight them. Surprised that the red dragon is a woman, Rain asks if she's the noted guard dog of the bridge. She confirms and introduces herself as Tanya, a dragonoid, one of the ultimate species. Tanya was using the bridge as a training ground. Kanade explains to Rain that it's a rite of passage for dragonoids to travel alone when they turn 15. Tanya confirms this. Tanya then openly challenges the two to a match to make her stronger. Seeing that she would not leave the bridge unless they fight, Rain and Kanade agree to the challenge. The battle starts with Tanya throwing a punch at Rain, who is barely able to defend against it. Impressed by this feat, Tanya then breathes fire at the two. Rain warns Kanade to evade it. She dodges it, but her tail catches fire. This angers her and she attacks Tanya. Rain watches in amazement at how she can fight against Tanya on equal footing. To help Kanade, Rain tries to punch Tanya, but she catches his wrists as he attacks and simultaneously grabs Kanade as she tried to kick her. She spins both of them around and throws them in the air. Rain realizes that they would be powerless in the air if they are attacked. Tanya breathes fire at them again. They manage to dodge the attack by pushing against each other. This impresses Tanya. She notes that this is the first time any opponent has lasted. Rain realizes he needs to fight like a beast tamer to beat Tanya. He asks Kanade to buy him 3 minutes to prepare. Kanade agrees to help and faces off against Tanya as Rain runs off to formulate a plan. Kanade rains consecutive blows on Tanya, which she blocks effortlessly. Rain searches for a presence he felt when they were thrown in the air. He finds it and uses a temporary contract on a bird and asks it to call for reinforcements. Rain calls off Kanade from the battle and takes over. Using the birds he contracted, they attack Tanya. This surprises Tanya as they swarm her and peck all over her body. She fends them off and she mocks Rain's attack. Rain approaches her and she suddenly becomes immobilized. Rain then reveals that the birds are called pedo and are poisonous. Even a dragonoid like her would be paralyzed after an attack from a flock. Tanya surrenders, unable to fight any longer. Rain asks her to come with them so they can talk her into not using the bridge to pick fights. Questioning what would happen if she refused, Rain answers that he doesn't know, but it would be a problem. Amused by this, Kanade pokes the immobilized Tanya into submission, making her agree to the demand.
何困ってんのよ。勝ったんだから無理やり連れてくでも何でもすればいいの。変なこと。いや。うわー！何すんのよ。もうレインを困らせちゃダメでしょ。悪い子にはこうだよ。えいえい。にゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃ。
Afterward, Rain and Kanade with Tanya report back to Nathalie at the Adventurers Guild. Nathalie is happy that they were able to secure the bridge. She asks who Tanya is, but before Tanya can introduce herself, Rain stops her and they abruptly leave the guild. Outside, Tanya draws attention to herself, and both Rain and Kanade stop her from revealing she's a dragonoid. On the outskirts of town, Tanya is scolded by Rain, who allows her to leave, but admonishes her from starting any trouble again after this. However, Tanya, who had taken a liking to Rain, suggests that he tame her as he had tamed Kanade. Having no other choice, Rain agrees and forms a contract with her.
繋がってるみたいで変な感じ。
俺は一生分の運を使ってしまった気がする。
こーら、この私と契約できたのに、これからよろしくね、ご主人様。私、あんたのこと気に入っちゃった。いろいろとかばってくれたしね。いや、ちょっと私のご主人様から離れて。あら、何？嫉妬？
That night in town, Arios complains about his team's wasted efforts in the Lost Woods, where they spend a week trying to fight against monsters. Lean, Agath, and Mina start realizing how Rain's old tasks were now the burden of the group. They start asking how to solve the problem. Arios smiles and gets the idea to recruit Rain back into the group. Then, after they conquered the Lost Wood, they would dump him again. Meanwhile, back at the inn, Rain sleeps on the floor while Tanya argue about which bed the other sleeps on.
私がレインの顔見ながら寝るの。いいじゃない。譲りなさいよね。ダメ！ケチ！ダメんだらダメ！ケチったらケチ！With
this, we end our video. Stay tuned for the next part and watch our other quality contents. Stay safe. Bye.